Alright, so we're here on the YouTube looking at some motion graphic effects and looking at some of these. Right, so how do you get stuff like this done manually? So let's open up After Effects. I'm going to do something very similar. We'll start off with creating a new composition. So I was starting a composition, but then I realized, I could record this. So let me just remove that composition and start again. So let's go with composition, new, and we just call it playing with text. Duration 30 seconds is fine. Resolution right now that we're going to work with, full, not doing anything too graphic intensive. And we just start off by just setting up the scene. So I'm going to create a new solid first. uh, Blue, this is fine, right? Press OK. And we want to also create a vignette with this. Now in previous compositions I've used a black solid before, so what I'm going to do is just reuse what I have. So I'm just going to drop this black solid in right there at the front, and because I want a vignette effect, I'm just going to go over to the tools where the ellipse tool is and simply double click. So once you double click, then it creates this shape for you around this solid, which is the size of the composition that you have. I'm just going to invert that a bit, or press invert, it inverts that, and tweak some of the settings. So we have mask shape, we're not going to play with that. We have mask expansion, which we will increase, like so. We also have mask feather, which will also increase to create a vignette. And if it's too deep in terms of how it looks, you could do one of two things. You could probably change the blending mode to get something like overlay, or you could probably change it to something like multiply if you want to get an effect. But if you're not changing the blending mode, you can simply lower the opacity and you get something very subtle, like so. Alright, so like we said, we're going to create a nice little effect with the text. This is motion graphic stuff. Alright, so I'm going to be using a text here, but first I need something to just help me along, and I'll be using a shape element that looks a little something like this. So it's going to come across from here to here. Now just remember, whenever you're creating your shapes, make sure that you don't have any layers selected. Let me show you what I mean. If I have a black solid layer selected, it has a mask. And if you try drawing on top of it with the pen tool, it's going to automatically create yet another mask. So now we have two masks. So if you're using the shape tool versus if you're using masking, the shape tool, you have to make sure that you don't have any layers selected. I'm just going to draw this shape here to about here, or even a little lower than that. Cool, the reason why I'm drawing this shape because I want to use the trim path option, and let's bring this black solid just above that. I'm going to lock this layer so it's not editable anymore, and we'll proceed. So first things first, let's get this shape, well, let's lock this too. Let's get this shape to appear. Now because it's a shape layer, I'm going to add an effect called trim paths. And right now trim paths does nothing. But you do have start and stop, so you could actually start and end. So I'm going to have it draw itself out, right? And in order for me to do that, I'm going to put everything back to 0. And I'm going to start by adding, probably at about 1 second of animation, right? Exactly 1 second. You can check in your little time there. We're going to start by just using both of them because I'm going to want to start and stop eventually. So at the beginning, it's going to be like that, and then probably for about 1 second, it's going to draw itself out like so. And meanwhile, we also want it to kind of stop there. So then you're going to have something like this. And if you want to be a little more interesting in terms of principles of animation, because we say with motion graphics you have to combine both principles of motion, principles of animation with principles of design. So we don't want to just stop like this. Like you probably want it to bounce a little bit. So what I'll do is just at the very ending, before it does that, I'm gonna have this part, the start, right, come down first, and then kind of bounce back up, right? So let's smooth that out with some easy ease. You can just right click and choose keyframe assistant. Easy ease, the shortcut is F9, and that's going to smooth out the animation a bit. So when you play it back now, it looks like this, right? And you could even go further and say you want to bounce just a smidge more, so 75 and that. Maybe it goes above that. Oops, let's move this out. Maybe this goes up just a bit more. You can hold CTRL to get a much smaller. So it bounces like this, right? So you don't got to, you just play with that just to make sure it looks nice. Once you're comfortable with that now, we want some words to appear out of the side of it. What words do we want specifically? All right, let's change the alignment to left align first. And I kind of want to change the color as well to white. And we're going to change also this thing here called leading to automatic, so that if I should do something with this, right, we kind of want to appear like it's coming out of this thing here. So here's how we do that. One, this is a text, so let's see what we can do with it. We have something called the text animator, and for that you can actually change the position of each of your letters. So we have here, I've added position, and you can change the X value of stuff, right? So if I move this across like so, and because everything is like that, then I can do this. We have the position that we're moving, but we also have a range selector where we can change things like this. So that changes position, and that changes them on a letter by letter basis. It says based on characters, words, lines. So if we change to lines, that's what we get instead. Something like this, right? Now let's work with this. Okay, what if we want to use words instead? Let's see how that works. It's about the same because they're words. So we work with the words. We have mode, add, subtract. We're not going to play with those. That's fine as it is. And you also have things like random order on or off, easing, high or low. Let's see what that looks like. So if we do, all right, so we're going to ease in both high and low, so that when it starts off slow and then kind of settles in there. See, it settles in, yeah. So now we're going to animate the start position, and we're going to have them all come out by the time it reaches about 10 seconds. And just set our keyframes there like that. And let's smooth that out. F9 is a shortcut. So we'll play it out, we'll get something like this. Now the problem is, if you look at the word something, you can see it on the edge there from the very beginning. And we don't want that. What we want is that we want to come out of a little section here on the side. And because our animation is complete and it's not dependent on the actual animation of the layer itself, but the words, I'm going to select my text layer and choose my rectangle tool. And all I'm going to do is this. Draw a mask around it so that it only shows up right there. So now if we look at the full animation that we have this. Yeah. Do something with this. Right? So that's what plays out. And then what we also want, not only that, but we want this thing to come across here and erase what we have. So let's speed up the animation just to get a good timing. So this comes out, this takes that much time to do. So let's check on all the animation that we have to do here. Just select all my layers, and if there's anything animated inside any of these layers, right, press U and you can see all the animated keyframes. So if something's going on too slow, for example here, right, I'm gonna do that, can actually make it go faster. And also we can turn on your motion blur. Not only that motion blur for our layers, but also motion blur for the layers you want to actually see the motion blur on has to be turned on as well. So then we get something looking more like this, much faster. And then when it plays out, you can see that there is a bit of a motion blur there as it plays out. And we can just increase the speed of that by bringing the two keyframes a little closer together. Right, and I could even add an additional element here. Right, so what if we had like another shape or another line, that while that line is passing by, it brings out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 1, 2, 3, 4 by the different lines that we have. So we're going to create one more shape. This time the shape is going to be a little thinner, probably yellow. Find out to be a decent contrast. So it's going to start off here and end about here, but the size isn't going to be as thick, so I'm just going to lower that. Right, so that's shape layer number 2, and I'm going to move my black solid layer up some more, or move these two down, so that the black solid layer, which is my vignette, can be there. So second shape, let's add an animation to it. So go add, choose trim paths, and trim paths, same thing as before. We're going to do something like this. Bonjour. So I'll start with end. No. Bam. So we'll have this animate itself like so. End. And here, this. Just gonna have it do that. Right? But the thing is, we can't play with the start, we have to play with the end because that's what we turned on. So let's turn off the end, which removes all your keyframes, and turn back on the start. So I'm going to play with both of them actually, or we can still play with start and end at the same time. And have it start off like so. And just to keep the timing right, start goes there. Something comes here. Right, we keep going. Width comes out here. And this comes out here. And afterwards, what can happen is something like this, something like this. And after it finishes, we just have it, the end. So we have the end here. Put in a little keyframe there so it can be there. And just have it, you know, erase itself. And let's just turn on the easing for that. F9. So what we have now is this. Now let's say this actually takes a while to start. So we're gonna pull these two keyframes back a bit so it happens a little faster than what we want. Right, and we could even something further. So these words do something. Maybe while the yellow thing is passing by, you want the words to glow yellow and then go back to white. You could do this. Do. So do comes out, and you want do to start off yellow. We could do that too. So we have our range selector here, and right now it's playing with. Let's show you. Right now it's playing with the position option. So that's position. We can also do something else. Let's add one more animator to it. So we're gonna animate the fill color. Let me just use RGB. And the color we want to fill it with is the color yellow. Press OK. And because you have a separate animator here, right? So fill color is gonna come up, and you want to start off yellow, right? So we'll do the same. Where are you? Yes. Let's see what happens yet. So far, it does this thing where it's slightly yellow before it comes out. But we don't want that. We want a completely different thing. So I'm going to remove this fill color here. We want more than just animator one. We want another animator. So another animate a fill color by itself. No, we want an animator too. Ah, there we go, animator 2. So like I said, the color we want is this. Whoa, no. Right, so right now the animator is doing that, but we want to be yellow at the beginning, eventually fade to white. So even this animator 2 actually has a range selector. So we can actually do something like an offset. So mayhaps you start off like this, yellow, right? And then you want to play with the start. So I'm going to put the start there. So do, when something comes out, you want this to already be white. This to now become white. Whoops. Next one, this. And then finally, this becomes white. So how does that play out? Let's see. Just press 0 on your numpad, or you pre um, something like that. Not quite how I wanted it, right? But it still works. I would have preferred if it was line by line rather than actually scrolling by everything all at once. But you can also change that too. Advanced option has based on characters or words or lines. So let's try words and see what happens. So it goes do something with this, and you see it does the whole word rather than character by character. So that's a cool thing. So that's what I wanted to do, something with this. And once you have that now, The only thing we're going to do now is get this line to move across like so and erase this. And to do that, first of all, we're gonna have to move the shape itself. So this shape needs to move. So once all that fanciness is over, do something with this. We're gonna have it there for a little bit, and we're gonna play with the positioning of this thing. So let's look at what properties we have available for this in terms of the shape. We also have path available, and you can actually manipulate the path. So if, for instance, our path starts off like this, and we want it to move afterwards, perhaps like so, I can take now my tools, right? I have my pen tool there. I can also use it to select, right, different points on my path. So I click on one, hold shift, set the next one. And when I move this across, it drops in another keyframe for me. Oh, look at that. It's shrinking the path. And the reason why it's shrinking the path like this is because we have our trim path on. But let's make the work a little easier for me. I'm going to undo what I did just now, right? And just go back to where I was before. Or rather, I can simply just delete this keyframe. Right, what I'm going to do is just move the whole shape. I'm not going to play with the path option, but I'm going to play with the layer option. So let's change positioning. So it goes across like this, and perhaps we hit the position key there, have this move across fast, like less than a second, just move it across, like so. Right? And maybe by the time it reaches here, this thing's going to close like that. So the next thing you want to do now is this across moving like so, and I'll go F9 to smooth that out. So the next thing you want to do now is you want to get rid of the rest of this. And the best way to do that is by playing with the mask options that we have on that particular text by doing the following. We have path options on the text. We have, sorry, not that, masks. Sorry. So you have masks. What we're going to do is play around with the mask shape. So we have this thing moving here, right? So from here, I'm going to just have it mask path on. It's going to come across here, right? Like so. And what we're going to do is just change that mask by doing this and just moving it across like so. And just check that it works. So we can go back and forth by frames by pressing CTRL and or command if you're on a Mac and right arrow key. And it goes across. You can see this is going on a little faster than it's supposed to be. So let's do this. Let's press F9 on that so it smooths it out and just get these to line up a little bit better. Like so. You got something like this. And just to make sure everything is working fine, what I might do is just tweak it some more like so in the middle. And then that's how you get that shape like so. And afterwards, this part stops here, this path stops here, and maybe you don't want to just stop like that, you know, just stop right there in the middle of just doing that. Maybe you want it to go, I call it overshooting. It's where you get it to go a little further than it's supposed to go, and then you pull it back or you dial it back a bit. So that will go a little further than it's supposed to go, and then we dial it back. Bam. Last but not least, we're gonna have this thing shrink, top and bottom coming in. And how do you do that? Well, there's multiple ways you could do it. You could use wipe, but what we're gonna do is just use the same trim path and get that part done. So we already have a trim path on the shape itself. You have trim path from start to end. I'm just gonna clear this. So you could go here and then start shrinking about here. So let's just turn on the two keyframes that we have here and somehow get it to shrink from the top and shrink from the bottom. So I'm holding CTRL and the same there and there. And finally, I'm going to just cut this right here by pulling this back. Ooh, so this is the entire thing now. Like that. Right, that seemed a little bit stiff just now. Like this part is here. Perhaps it's because of my little overshooting. It comes across and then stops suddenly, which kind of just kills the effect I was going for initially. So let's play with positioning again and kind of dial that back to what it was before. Yes, that's true as well. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna move this stuff. It's a matter of now moving the keyframes. So after let's move the words out of the way. Whoops. Ha ha ha. Right. So words get fixed up, that's fine. Maybe not. Yeah, let's just work with this. Goes across like so. Wipes out the words. Some more fast than not. And this thing, I'm just gonna check on this. Just want to make sure it works out fine. So nothing goes too far beyond it's supposed to go. So that shrinks fine. This, probably pull this back a bit. Just click on that text. The mask comes up, double click on the mask. Let's pull this back. Go forward. And just make sure everything is everything. Probably have it stop and do the thing. So let's play with the trim path again. Oh, mask. Here we go, trim path. Start and end after you finish with the movements. So that and this, and set this up to be that, and set this one up to be this. It's something like this. Yeah. And let's move these guys over to the right a bit. Yep. And then we can just pull this entire thing back and say the whole animation is going to be 11 seconds, and then right click on the gray area, the work area, and just choose extract or trim comp. It's composition to work area, which means the new size of the composition in terms of the length is going to be just what we have there. So the entire thing now. And of course, this would be better with some sound effects, none of which I have at the moment because this is impromptu. So do something with this, and then you have that, then that. Right? And that's some level of motion graphic there. And if, for example, you were doing dialogue with like a poem or some words, you could make your words appear in any different way you want to appear, and you create something interesting. Then you can also jump in and say, okay, I like this. This looks decent. and then even use the camera tool, right? So you might decide that, okay, I want to organize everything a certain way, but I want my camera to control what I'm going to be seeing after a while. So I'm going to cut off this video right here and then probably jump into how we use the camera tool in order to get things to look a little bit more dynamic. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching.